Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live and back at it again, folks. It's I'm thirsty Thursday is almost what came out of my mouth. But it's Thursday night. We got TNA Impact. We got lots to talk about. We got a lot to get into. Myself, Big Nick, and Anthony will be here at some point. But it's going to be a fun night ahead. Plus, we're heading into a very busy weekend here at the channel. So make sure you strap in, strap on, grab your snacks, grab your feel good. It's going to be a fun one, folks. Let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We are live and back at it again, folks. Like I said, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. This is going to be a fun one tonight as we get into TNA Impact. As you can see on the screen, we got a little bit of six-man action and so much more to get into. We will see how this show plays out. I will remind everyone out there, we're watching the show on YouTube. So a little bit later. It's coming in about 15 minutes. And we got a little bit of talking time to get into before that. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of the show. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Make sure you get in that chat. Don't be quiet. Don't be shy. Don't be a stranger. We got lots on our mind. But I will remind you, I am Mr. Every Night KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube, and that is Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its trios tag stream champions of the world. The Every Night Delight, KJ White. I am Big Nick. And yes, tonight we've got the fallout from No Surrender. By the way, this is going to be interesting because this is that second batch of tapings now. This is the non-Scott D'Amore. This is under the new regime set of tapings here.
Very much so, very much so. And the card's looking good for tonight. Lots going on in TNA. Plus, I believe they have another pay-per-view Friday night special coming up. Sacrifice is on the cusp, coming soon. So
8 days.
A quick turnaround. I mean, sometimes I wonder why TNA schedules things the way they do, but can't complain. We're going to get another semi pay-per-view very soon. So that'll be very interesting. Yes, the post Scott D'Amore era we saw at No Surrender. Some people, Eric Young addressed the audience, trying to, keep the hopium alive. Because I mean, for the wrestlers, I think at the end of the day, the idea that this is all going to fall apart must be a heartbreaking idea for all of them. Like, it really sucks the situation with Scott, but do they go down with the ship or do they just keep rowing?
Well, you kind of have was in some cases, like I know me and Anthony talked about this last week before No Surrender and everything with Moose's comments and all of that. Of a guy's got the longest contract pretty much in TNA history at this point. So when you're serving that type of a sentence, you know that you really might as well try and go along to get along and make the best out of the situation that you've got versus, let this situation take you down too.
Absolutely. We also got Mustafa Ali will be in the house. Still not officially signed by any note that we know of. Macklin and Steve Macklin and Speedball are going to go one-on-one, and of course Tasha Steelz is taking on Zaya Brookside. So again, some of the bigger notes of tonight's event. Should be a fun one. Good matches. We'll see how they all play out. And we'll see what the product looks like. If there's a change in the feel, change in the vibe, is the creative any different? Do they pivot in any way, shape, or form? We don't know yet.
Well, and I think the biggest thing is because you started to talk about how Mustafa hasn't signed, or Mustafa, and Hammerstone's another name that they've talked about bringing in that hasn't re-signed. We've talked about how Macklin is about to be a free agent, I guess, come May, I want to say, down by the bay.
Down by the bay, maybe.
And we just saw it with Alexander, to where they initially said he had re-signed. When it's no, they exercised their option on him, so gave him no choice. So that's going to be, I think, the biggest telling thing of how they retain their roster if they bring anybody on, especially because that was a point of contention with Scott of allegedly that he might have been, pulling the pocket strings a little too wide there and willing to break out the money too much. So we'll see how their talent roster, their signings go.
Well, I mean, again, with them being involved with Access and the company Anthem, kind of owning all of it. They're not making that advertising dollar that they could be. I know, at least it was rumored that the budget was a big issue. Scotty wanted to spend more. They didn't. So it gets really curious of, do they shrink the roster? Do they feel like they can accomplish the same amount with less talent? Do they feel the same urgency to bring in people? Do they even know the people? Like, a Scott D'Amore goes, ooh, Hammerstone, that's going to be a goodie. Does Anthony Ciccone know the same things?
Well, absolutely. And do they want to spend that dollar? Does that person want to come into this potentially unsettled situation here? And again, do they, like you were saying, do they make more with less of? That's really what they've been doing this whole time. So do they just stay fast to the guys that they've got locked down, like a Moose, like a Josh Alexander, like I'm assuming an EY, and we just really run those guys up the flagpole as much as we have, like a Jordan Grace?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, they're going to lean on those ones. It would be very interesting. I want to know more about the creative side of things. I'm really curious as far as, how much of a role is Tommy Dreamer playing? Are the others still playing? How much impact does that have on all of this? I'm very curious. I really am.
Fair enough. As long as we don't quote Dave Meltzer, we're all good. Which, have you heard the latest quote of, for those who didn't know, Friday Night SmackDown has a good chance of staying on Friday Night SmackDown? That's the breaking news from Wrestling Observer.
I'm shocked that he said that, because usually anything Dave Meltzer reports about the WWE is usually wrong, and usually like in a negative light, like SmackDown most likely going to Saturday afternoons. Like,
well, no, he randomly brought up of like, why would they stay on Fridays? It's like, you fucking idiot. Why would they move? Like, what's the better play?
Yeah, I mean, again, that Friday night spot's been kind of good to them. It's bringing in, the biggest numbers in the company. Again, he reports things like they're, breaking news, but they're just his thoughts, folks. They're just
the only person that gets sourced more than the weatherman and has a less fucking percentage of being accurate than the weatherman is Dave Meltzer.
Yep, the weatherman of wrestling, Mr. Meltzer.
Worse, but worse.
I was, like we said, we were recently talking about the Observer Awards, which they make no sense. The point system makes no sense.
The only credible award out there is the Golden Cage.
There you go, folks. Damien, how you doing? Actually, C-Money beat Damien in. He's looking forward to Speedball and Macklin. It will be a banger, I imagine. Looking forward to the System versus ABC and Eric Young. Of course, Eric Young is going to get a title shot, so that will be very interesting. Welcome back, Chris, Nevsky, Mikkel, AJ with us. What?
I was just trying to pronounce the name in a different way.
I'm guessing
I was right.
Ronnie, how you doing? Eric, how you doing as well? Give us a like. Everyone out there, give us a like. We really appreciate it. Help massage that algorithm. Today is the last day of February. We're about to set another record for the channel as far as biggest month ever, which has just been the ongoing trend. So
it's become the trend versus the norm versus the outlier there. Which, by the way, how did you spend your extra day? I don't know. Does Canada get an extra day? Did you count this? Is this March 1st for you guys?
Oh, my American buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, we got a free day here. We got a gimme pass here,
right? We were feeling a little froggy today on the extra day. But speaking of feeling froggy, the chapeau that runs the show is back with us. Let me hit the correct button so it doesn't look so silly. But without further ado, hello, Mr. Anthony.
What is up? How you guys doing?
Doing well, sir. How you doing? You ready for some impact?
I am ready for a little impact tonight.
It should be a good one. I just want to quickly say hello to Keyshawn and Davey. Davey says Jake something could be a big player moving forward too. I couldn't imagine he wouldn't be.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a big star looking forward to. I think he's actually looking forward to the X Division Championship. He has hinted a lot of that on the X over the past couple of months. So I think he's coming for that X Division Championship sooner rather than later.
Because when I think X Division, I sure think of something. That's the only thing. It's changed the goddamn name. Like, it's too joke easy. It's too punny. You can't be Jake something. It's kind of like Rick Boogs was never going to be a world champion because no one's saying Boogs.
I was saying Boogs.
I was saying Boo Earns.
Oh, there you go. AJ giving a little love to two members of the wrestling world that passed away this week. Ole Anderson and Virgil, of course, both passed away. So T's and P's to them. Absolutely. I know we talked about it earlier this week, but yeah, especially, you know, I mean, you never say, but like too young feels too young at any point nowadays. Like Virgil, 61. You know, it's sad to see him go.
Is that also because we're too old and we're getting closer and closer to there?
Yeah.
So you're like, shit.
That's as you start getting older, you start doing the math.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the thing. Now you realize that shit starts racking up, and you're like, oh, okay. This is real now.
AJ giving some love to Anthony.
What's up, AJ?
Jake something goes one-on-one with Laredo Kid.
Yes.
Laredo Kid's been an interesting guy when it comes to Impact because like he's always around, but like very in and out. Like he's never not with the company, but I don't even know if he's officially with the company.
Yeah, I don't think he's officially with the company at all. He's just around like as extra talent, as I like to call some of these TNA guys, just extra talent. They show up when they need a match and then they go on about their business until you see them again.
Man got one of them good visas because we know those have been hard to come by. Man's got one of them good visas to show up.
Right.
Now we got
they're just cashing in. So he's going to be on every show until that visa runs out because it's all taped. So if he doesn't show up, you know that visa ran out.
Yeah, no, he's done well with it. Now, just quickly, Anthony, you watched AEW Dynamite last night?
I watched it until I didn't. So I think
it's like interviewing someone who's been in like Gitmo or something. Like, so you've been through that struggle, right? You watched that terrible thing.
Exactly. I think I watched until about 9 o'clock, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't. So I just turned everything off. I was like, no, I'm gonna just go watch something else. I cannot do this.
I'm out. Thank you. I tried. But yeah, no, definitely a decent card shaping up for tonight outside of the system. Of course, EY is going to team up with ABC, so that shall be interesting. The system's been good since they kind of come together.
Yeah, they really have. I like them together. And it kind of just happened like, I don't want to use the term overnight, but it was technically like overnight, like Hard to Kill. Now we got this stable, and it seems like they're doing big things going forward with this stable. I'm actually excited to see how Anthony Ciccone handles this, since it's no longer Mr. Scott D'Amore.
Well, we had talked about that before you had just shown up. Of how do you feel that now this is that new batch of tapings? We've got Mustafa Ali having his pretty much inauguration ceremony here for X Division champion tonight, but is not signed with the company. Hammerstone's not signed with the company.
Right.
Macklin, his contract's coming up. We saw the whole situation with Josh Alexander. Is that going to be more the issue going forward of where TNA has that struggle?
You know, honestly, if you would have asked me a couple of days ago, I probably would have said yes. But since then, you have you just said his name and my mind went blank.
Alexander.
Yes, Alexander. We had Alexander do an interview earlier this week. He talked about the whole contract situation and how he asked them not to extend it, but he said, I signed the contract, so if they wanted to extend it, they could extend it, and they chose to extend it. And he said there's no animosity towards what happened. He said, I signed the contract, I have to do what I have to do. So until February of next year, you'll see me still with TNA. So I think Anthony might have some good plans going forward. I really do want to give this man a chance to see what he has going for it. No Surrender was the first technically pay-per-view without Scott D'Amore, and it was excellent in my opinion. So we'll see what these tapings have in store for us.
Yeah, it went pretty well, I would say. And I got the start of the show, of course. They started in memory of Virgil, which is a nice touch. But yeah, I mean, we were talking about that right before you came on of where does this go? Like, does an Anthony Ciccone know of the hot free agents? Is he relying on somebody to tell him? Does he have a smaller budget, bigger budget? You know, a lot of questions to be answered.
Yeah, I had heard rumors of them wanting to go live. Like I've heard those rumors more and more this week. There are even some rumors saying they're looking for a centralized location like they do for NXT to
That'd be cool.
have TNA Impact Live every Thursday. So I don't know. It seems like he has some good plans, and then it comes back to the free agent deal, just like you said. Does he have that eye for free agency? I think time would tell with that.
Well, it seems. Go ahead.
Neil.
No, I was going to say, it seems interesting that everybody that's there and stuck there is just like, well, I'm fucked, so I might as well at least go along to get along here. A bit of,
right.
You know, Alexander, oh, well, I didn't want him to do it, but they did it, so I guess I'm here. Moose is the longest contract. I have heard the discussions that they want to try and go live. I've heard Full Sail mention. Obviously, they have the connection to Endeavor. There's been the potential of maybe they sell to WWE. That's why they didn't want to sell to D'Amore. So it's very interesting times in TNA. Sorry.
Bring back the Impact Zone. I'm all for the Impact Zone returning. Let's go.
Right.
Do the tunnels on the each side of the ring. We're all set.
You can just borrow the tunnels from Tony when he gets rid of them for Dynamite.
If they're going to go live each week and do it at a centralized location, I just asked them to at least travel for their premium live events because I still want to go to the shows. I'm just saying.
It is funny to hear you call them premium live events. I'm just saying.
Those are actual pay-per-views because you got to pay for that shit.
Right.
So. But yeah, it's if they ran that NXT type schedule, that's not a bad play, especially because they do kind of run those one-off shows that are more a weekly show, but it's got a special name and everything versus like a No Surrender is an actual pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. I think Tasha Steelz matches up better right now. Says, good to see you, Davey. Robert's back in the house feeling some TNA. I feel TNA has been much better than AEW, and I love AEW too. Boys,
he said it. I mean, you were here last night, Anthony. You already said I couldn't even make it through the full show.
I couldn't. I had to turn it off. It was nothing that interests me. Last night in AEW, I kind of regret paying $15 for next week, but I'm gonna go anyway.
It's still worth the show. I hope. But we're starting off with Mike Bailey.
Tasting of everything.
You know what? It's funny because I heard some like AEW diehards that also do what we do, and generally, there could be a donkey show in the middle of the ring, and they're like best wrestling show ever. And in this particular night, they were just like, I didn't care. Even they didn't care. So how the hell are lesser fans like? It wasn't like it was a horrible match. Like even the 6 men that opened the show, but I didn't care. It was just like paint by numbers, like going through the motions.
Yeah. I don't know if you actually guys had seen my comment last night. It was like one of the last comments before I left, but a lot of the big streamers are no longer streaming AEW weekly. Like I searched last night and it was literally, and I'm not saying this because we're on this channel, but it was like literally the Wrestling for Life Network was like one of the only ones out of the big names that were actually streaming AEW last night. So it's
often imitated, never replicated, never duplicated.
Exactly. The tagline is perfect. So it's kind of shocking that a lot of the big streamers are backing out from even covering AEW on a weekly basis.
Well, even today, going online, I know we all go online and everything, obviously, for doing everything that we do and everything. But was any mention of anything else that happened on the show outside of Sting coming down from the rafters, which even by that point we were kind of sick of? We were like, well, you could have done it better. Like, we'd watch 2 hours of bullshit. So we're like, can we just do something right here? They gave Sting his promo after the show instead of on the show.
Yeah, you just stole my next point. Like, that was the big thing, was not the fact that Sting did stuff, other than he came down from the roof and he did that once before. He did that elsewhere, and it was so cool, which we agree. It was a very cool moment. I don't want to take away from that. But then you gave him the mic after the show went off the air. Pourquoi?
That's dumb.
Well, like Nick
That's
Gray even
dumb.
says that Sting was giving his speech to whoever actually stayed in the audience during Dynamite. Once again, so sad thinking about that. Pathetic. As then even Keyshawn points out, because I only pop in on occasional Wednesdays, of Keyshawn just letting you know the secret sauce here of KJ just talks to the chat on Wednesdays. He becomes Q&A with KJ.
Right? Every once in a while, I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, back to you guys.
And Moxley's still not selling, and he's bleeding now. He's bleeding.
But this match off and running as we got Macklin and the Rascals are at ringside with him as he takes on Speedball.
Yeah, and then you got Trent Seven in the background as well. I don't see Kushida or anything like that, but yeah, you got Trent Seven in the background.
But this does have the potential to be arguably the best match tonight already. We're kicking off with this here.
Oh yeah. Right. Oh yeah. You got Steve Macklin, who's just like one of those hard-hitting competitors, and Speedball Mike Bailey just flies everywhere. So
Speedball's the Kevin Hart of wrestling.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying Speedball's the Kevin Hart of wrestling. Like, he just shows up and shows out. Like, he takes all the bookings.
Right.
I was literally about to say, I think this just reminds us of a Wrestling Revolver show, because I feel like we've seen this on a Wrestling Revolver show.
I mean, he just wrestled this weekend at Prestige Wrestling. He wrestled Mustafa Ali, which was an excellent match. But I mean, this man is like everywhere.
Really is, but he just took a chop block. He's not happy about life right now. He goes down hard.
Right, yeah, he went down real hard.
Right. Davey saying Stampede supports Wrestling for Life. Yes. We support Stampede.
Stretch them.
Yeah, I was about to say. Oh, my joke. Yes.
It's the only thing I got.
That was amazing.
Looks like they're hyping up the Mustafa Ali ceremony later tonight. I think that's going to be good. I don't know who's going to interfere, but I feel like somebody is.
Absolutely. Saban. He's still not officially signed.
Right. He's not officially signed.
But Saban interferes. Saban's the one that interferes here.
He has to.
We're still setting that up.
Oh, we got a little more Saban in the bag.
You got to pay that off. Yeah, that's still, you've still got gas in the tank on that story.
Okay. I can go with that.
David, what up, saying was great to see Sting finally rappel down.
Yeah, well, if he would have done it 15 minutes earlier, it would have been that much better. Maybe 10.
Or at least then in the ring instead of outside the ring. And if it wasn't the Young Bucks, there's so many variables that could have been better there.
It was cool. But that's what I find sometimes with some of like the diehard fan of like, you can get fed like 2 hours of nothingness and like Sting came down from the ceiling, so it's the best show ever. You're like, what?
One moment does not justify the entire 2 hours.
Yeah, we're at Eminem over here. You don't got to lose yourself in the moment here, folks. But yeah, that's it. Literally, it's not even what he did afterwards is what they're even showing. It's just like, well, he came down from the ceiling. That was pretty fucking cool, right? Yeah, cool. Well, I was here for another hour and 59 minutes of the show. The rest of that wasn't cool.
Right. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
That was beautiful. That was real beautiful by Speedball Mike Bailey.
I don't even know what you call that.
You're right.
Moonsault on the outside.
Yeah, corkscrewy. Yeah, definitely.
It was like he just glided through the air.
Well, don't say that because he looks like the fucking squirrel from Rocky and Bullwinkle out here. So
I was thinking more of like maybe the Avatar, the Last Airbender of gliding. I wasn't going.
No, he's got bald. He's got the skull. He's got the mullet.
Right. Now you got me thinking that the match is Rocky versus Bullwinkle.
Exactly.
They exchange chops on the apron. I see Chris. I see Villain. We will get you, folks. Mix in the house, clapping away. AJ, Alexis, Nick Bray's back with us. What did he have to say? Why in the hell did they have Sting? Why did they not? Oh my God. Why in the hell did they have Sting speak to the crowd after Dynamite went off the air? That's just sad. I thought this was a big missed opportunity that it's his last Dynamite, and I felt like throughout the show there could have been an opportunity to kind of like tip your hat to him, show like Sting's greatest AEW moments. That kind of made it like the Sting show. And 1 minute left, the man came down from the ceiling.
That's what happens when you don't have people in the writing room, because we've seen WWE do it multiple times. Speaking of just, and Sting is not unfortunately passed away, but like with Bray Wyatt, throughout the night there was something that they did. They could have did that with Sting. Like they could have had video packages of wrestlers speaking about him, but no, it was just a regular Dynamite with nothing special.
It's been a continuing trend in Sting's whole final run with this, is he's the afterthought in everything. Of this man has truly been going out on his shield and looking up at the lights his entire farewell tour, because he's been the afterthought. This has been to get Darby over, which, I mean, that's the key goal, to get the Young Bucks the tag titles. There's been nothing about this that has felt like an actual farewell to Sting. Everything that's happened that's been a farewell to Sting has been fan made or just the fans getting hyped about it.
Right. Ooh,
a good match to start the show tonight. And yeah, Davey, I agree with you. Every promotion has their diehards, their homers. We're talking Homer.
Don't
100%. Like, don't. We just happen to be talking about this collection, but yes, there are some people that will give 10 out of 10 no matter what happens on a show. We are not those people.
That's correct. Because if TNA did a horrible episode, I will be here saying something about it. And oh my God.
You know what's a mean move when it makes you make a face watching it with that Poison Rana right there, just in the center of the ring?
Yeah, that big man doesn't exactly move through the air as smooth as Speedball does, and that looked impactful. See what I did?
Oh,
ooh. He was going for optimal weapon, but Steve Macklin moved.
Oh, what a match. It's over.
Wow. 1, 2, 3.
AIA ends it.
Wow.
Speedball taking pretty much, I mean, a little, a pretty straight up win or loss. A little bit of help from the outside. How do you feel about the Rascals hanging out with Macklin?
I feel like it's a weird combo. It's like Steve Macklin is that calm, ruthless guy, but then it's like the Rascals are like, we're just everywhere all the time and we like to party. That's kind of like the feel that they give. So it's an odd pairing.
It's like the older brother that was forced to drive his kid brother and his friend to the party.
Exactly.
No, it's major pain. What we have here is a failure to communicate.
The super serious dude with the two clowning behind him.
Well, like I said, he deaf. He can't hear. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Oh, Steve Macklin got a mic.
Now, odds on percentage, he stays, goes where he goes when his contract is up. Does he stay in TNA? Does he go to WWE? Does he go and join Wifey in the AEW? Where are we thinking?
Oh, just quickly, he is calling out Nemeth, by the way.
Oh,
still.
It's a match to make.
Nemeth for Sacrifice next week.
Samoa Joe, I'll take you on at Sacrifice. That pay-per-view name has been ruined for TNA thanks to Scott Steiner.
Right. Oh, Nikki's on the screen. Look at me.
But this is really the match to make of these are your arguably two of your top guys, if not your two top guys in the company.
Oh no, this is the match with like two of the biggest guys in the company. You're exactly right.
Yeah, a nice break in rivalry for Nick, right? They usually do that. Like you get your first rivalry, then they push you where you're eventually going to go. So if this relationship continues to their pattern, have a nice little run with Macklin, and then head towards Moose.
Oh yeah, into that TNA World Championship, which I still think it might be at Rebellion, but I might be wrong. If it's not at Rebellion, it's definitely going to be at. I think after that would be Slammiversary, like the big pay-per-view would be Slammiversary.
But still, to make everything all around, what comes around, Ricky, is that Nemesis 2 tune-up matches into TNA were against the Rascals. So this is now you've made it through the underbosses. Now you're going to take on the final boss here.
Yeah.
But back to your original question, Nick, about Macklin staying or going. I mean, it's very interesting. I think the next few months with Anthony Ciccone are going to be very telling. Because if he can convince people to stay, right?
Right.
No, yeah, absolutely. The next couple of months is going to be very interesting with Anthony Ciccone. And Steve Macklin, and I think Nick and I talked about this last week. I think we both agree that it seems like Steve Macklin's character, there's a lot of people, a lot of wrestlers in AEW that have that exact same character. It would be different to see him like in the WWE element with that character, because you do have some tough guys in there. You just got Braun Breaker on the main roster, but someone like Steve Macklin, I think that would be a good fit for WWE as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I always wonder, like, again, the Macklin stature in that, like, where, like, does he get lost in the shuffle of AEW and he's, doing jobs to Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara? That's my only concern. I think WWE, you could see Macklin against Bobby. You could see Macklin against a Braun Breaker. There's other guys of his stature. As Frankie Kazarian's not allowed in the building.
What is this, Collision?
Oh, he's suspended.
But no, if you have Macklin go to AEW, he fits in perfectly with the BCC because it's Eddie does it, Moxley does it. We talked about it even last night, though. Of there's 10,000 matches on AEW that just it's a chop spot. It's more striking than an actual wrestling match or anything. And frankly, that's what Macklin does.
Yeah, don't do that to Stevie. Come on now.
Yeah.
Please no.
I have no clue why they sent Gia Miller out there to tell Frank Kazarian he was not allowed in the building. I don't get that.
Take your microphone and go tell him he can't come in.
Exactly.
As up next, Laredo Kid coming to the ring. And Josh Alexander, another funny caveat about Josh being extended is his wife is the ring announcer.
Right. So yeah, that's another caveat right there. And we don't even know how long she like potentially signed to be the ring announcer. So
no idea.
I'm locked up, won't let me out.
I just got to quickly acknowledge C Money, playing up my joke here. That is fucking beautiful. I appreciate you, C Money. But thoughts on the teases they are being doing with Daniel Garcia and Nick Wayne. Ring of Honor is my thought.
Oh, what?
I seen Nick Wayne come out for the first time, I think, last night with his own music, and it was like nobody acknowledged that he was there. No one cheered or booed for him in the crowd. It was just like, hey, it's Nick Wayne.
You remember? I remember. But I get what you're saying of use them on Ring of Honor and build that up like your NXT, but that ship I think has fucking sailed. At least have it be Daniel Garcia's got to go through Nick Wayne to get to Christian at the pay-per-view or what have you. Have that be the build-up instead of we just had this weird merger of one feud collided with another of, we had an iceberg and the Titanic meet each other on Dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like how this all played out, and I assume that, like, I have this feeling that at Revolution on Sunday, Edge will come back, like he'll be the reason that Garcia beats Christian. Like I don't know. It's just this. It's all been a bit of a. All we want is this grudge match, this lifelong grudge match between Adam Copeland and Christian. They've been friends for life. That's the story, and we got all these other moving parts. Nick Wayne's mom and Killshot. It's just been. Just get to the point.
I was just about to ask until you mentioned him. I was like, where is Adam Copeland? Because like I have not seen him in a couple of weeks. So
Concerto. He's playing first chair in the concussion section.
Jake Something's definitely winning this match, right?
Oh, he has to. I think that's the only choice.
Again, we need to change the name because this sounds like an Abbott and Costello bit. Something's winning this match, right? Who's on first? What's on second? Then's on commentary. Now is the official. What are we doing here?
Right. He really does remind me of Hercules. We just got to give him a big chain.
Right. He's scary big.
Oh. No, him, Elias, Boogs, they all look like interchangeable default creator wrestler. Respectfully. They all look like the same human being.
They're all the powerful body type.
Go, Jobber Rangers.
Jobber Rangers.
Oh, and that, by the way, it is Nick Nemeth going to take on Steve Macklin at Sacrifice.
Oh, is he putting the that global championship on the line?
That'd be interesting. I don't know if that was said, to be 100% honest with you.
I know it was rumored a couple of days ago.
Macklin's a fantastic guy that would work really well in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
That just clicked all the way in my head of you said put that belt on the line. Nick works great there too. Macklin would be phenomenal, I feel, in Japan.
Yeah, Japan's been smart about like putting the when they bring in talent, they'll give them the belt. Riddle got a belt. Sasha got a belt when she showed up. They'll capitalize on name value. So, and Nick's going to be great, and that's over. Holy shit. We got a pancaked lucha. Oof. Wow, I can't remember what I was saying, but yeah, I think Steve and Nick are going to work well. Nick sells his ass off. Macklin's a powerhouse. It's going to be a hell of a match. That's it's the end of days essentially.
Yeah, that's exactly what it kind of is. Yeah, there was no way Laredo Kid was winning this.
Canonero. Nick has a black eye. Yep. Yeah. Well, he's still got the black eye gimmick from Japan.
Still to come. Tasha Steeles and Xia Brookside.
Why they do that for Zaz?
Wait, picture? Sorry, I didn't realize this match was tonight. Is AJ and Diener, our buddy Diener, taking on?
Oh, yeah. His AJ Francis's one claim to fame is "quote unquote" Big Rick energy because he's going to be on MLW and TNA at the same time because that's comparable to being on WWE and WCW on the same night.
Listen, if you're top dollar, you're pulling at straws, man. You want to get all the hype, right? Like.
I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 cents?
It looked like AJ Francis was trying to get the upper hand a couple of weeks ago on Joe Hendry, but Joe Hendry had that song in his back pocket, and that just kind of ended it all.
Yeah, when you get out rapped by the Scottish guy, you're not doing so well.
Right, exactly.
I mean, AJ Francis, Max Caster, and Joe Hendry in a wrap off.
Oh, I'm taking Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry, yeah.
Caster can't finish his lines, and I don't think AJ Francis has any good lines. So
No, no offense to AJ. He's so just, it's all like very methodical and very simplistic of like, I got girls. Yeah. Like, you're like, all right, bro, take a break.
You just rhymed the same line like 10 times. Like, you ain't got bars like that. Please, TNA, add more women roster, please. No, Andy, I think they've done fantastic with what they've had.
Yeah, they got a strong women's or knockouts division there. You could see a couple of new faces, but I like that the division is small because everyone gets to be utilized in a special way. So I don't think they need to add more women just yet.
I'm surprised they haven't got their hands on Tennille Dashwood, though.
You know, I thought she was there.
Well, she was there, and then she left, went to the WWE, and then her and her boyfriend got cut, which, I mean, Riddick Moss in TNA, anybody, might work.
I'm literally so behind the times. I thought they had both shown up there already because I just assumed they fit too perfectly there. It's like, well, that puzzle piece goes there.
Right.
What if Camille goes there? Excuse me. Instead of WWE or AEW, if Camille goes to TNA.
I don't know. Oh, what the shit?
Tony Storm showed up backstage looking mad.
I can hear the fans already. PCO stole Tony Storm's gimmick.
No, this is what I'm supposed to have my existential crisis of.
Right?
Do we see the black and white? Is it black and white for them? Is it black and white just for me? What's going on here?
Right.
I don't know what you do to further this feud between Khan and PCO. I'm thinking a Monsters Ball match is in the future. I feel like it has to be.
Keep escalating. I mean, it's kind of like when he had his PCO had that rivalry with Bronson Reed, and they were just like, they killed each other, and you're like, now what? And then they killed each other even more, and they just kept upping the ante.
Right.
This is good. I mean, for Big Khan to kind of step out on his own. Not Tony Khan. Khan.
Well, I was going to say, it's like Kong versus Godzilla. You just keep having big monster movies until people stop tuning in to big monster movies. Or if you're Tony Khan, speaking of Tony Khan, you just switch the Meat Madness to a breakfast scramble, an all-star slam like fucking Denny's out there.
So is the Meat Madness like, is that a match?
That's off. That was a match. And then it's off. It's off. It's 69 off the menu.
Yeah, Meat Mania was canceled. Put in the freezer, as Tony said.
Literally.
A lot of people talked about this. Even like AEW fans were very perplexed online today of like, wait, there was going to be a match between three guys. You canceled the match due to injury, and those three guys are still in this all-star classic match you're doing now. I just felt like it was a way of like Jericho wanted to be on the show, and this is how they got him on it.
Wait a minute, back up for a second. Did you say that they canceled the match with three men that are going to be in the same match because of injury?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, this is very much, it's been confusing all the way around. I was heartbroken because we were getting no Meat Madness here. But it's like turning in and saying, we're going to have people miss the game because of, injuries and everything like that. And you turn in a blank injury report, and then all of a sudden you have so-and-so that can't compete. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, here comes Joe Hendry, by the way. But yeah, break it down. Lance Archer, Hobbs, and Wardlow were going to be in Meat Mania. Announcement came out saying, due to injury, we can't do that match. Then they announced they're going to do an all-star scrambled eggs. And so the meat's on the side, but we're going to get the eggs instead. But all three of those men are in the scramble with Jericho. Who the fuck else is in it? Two people to be, we'll figure out two people on Friday and Saturday. Jericho's in it. Someone else is in it. But it's like an 8-man all-star match.
But none of the three men that were in the original match are injured.
Apparently not. They're still in this match.
Can I utter something that's probably never been said in pro wrestling? This is vegan booking of we've skipped the meat for no fucking reason. Just to sit there and say, we're going to just throw them the same shit in there and act like it's different.
I feel like Jericho went to Tony and was like, "I'm not on Revolution," and they're like,
Okay,
"Oh,
maybe you don't deserve to be on the card. I don't
yeah."
know.
After his match last night,
Oh my god. AEW Dynamite last night was watching tectonic plates like try and collide and everything and just watch them drift and come back together. It was the most fucking watching wallpaper dry episode of Dynamite I think I've ever watched.
I've seen one of my favorite creators on TikTok talk about how no one is talking about Revolution, and I was like, I wonder why. Like, why is no one talking about AEW Revolution? Because the product is not good.
No, they are, and the only thing that they were talking about with Dynamite is Sting's last match. That's the only thing they have going. If they have that, and they have Hangnail Page, Swerve, and Joe, which that again was the highlight of that entire show. That was the best segment. They started off with it because again, reverse booking. Tony keeps trying to reverse engineer a good wrestling show, and it's failed fucking for 3 years, and he still keeps trying to do it. But outside of those two things, there is shit all else to pay attention to in AEW, respectfully.
because you're not building, and that's the hurt. That's what hurts this going into Revolution is like BCC is going to take on FTR. The build just started a week and a half ago. You've had all these months since World's End. Like you've had like 90 days since World's End. This wasn't a long-standing rivalry, just kind of got thrown together. OC Roderick, a little bit of a build. But again, you had your big pay-per-view match 2 weeks ago against Taven in a death match. Now we're having a regular match for the belt. You have to build to your pay-per-view. And I think, love it or hate it, WWE has 5 Elimination Chamber matches or 4, whatever the hell it was. But there was a story behind everything that happened.
Yeah.
But it was too predictable. It was too predictable.
Well, we'll see how unpredictable Sunday is.
It's amazing how a car crash is always unpredictable.
Right? Well, you look at Osprey, right? Everyone's jazzed that Osprey was back last night. And that even fell flat for me. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, he's here. He didn't come out spitting, just, piss and vinegar where he was, ready to take on the world. It was handshakes with the heel guy, Don Callis. And, oh, bloody hell, we're going to have a good match, bruv. See you Sunday, bruv. Like, it was so subdued that is anyone, like, I think the match is going to kill. It's going to murder. But the build up to it, like, that wasn't the moment. You could have made that super cool, right? Like, how dare you make me fight one of my own faction mates? I'm going to kick everyone's ass. And once I'm done with Takeshita, AEW, I'm coming for that belt. I'm coming for everybody. It wasn't that. It was just like, see you Sunday, bro.
But when it's the 7th time you see the person and this is supposed to be the first time you see them, does it feel special?
You can make it that feel special, though.
I feel like you can make it special, but I don't think AEW does a good job of making anything special.
Well, they might be coloring book forever special.
I drew a blue duck because I've never seen a blue duck before. I want to see a blue duck.
But this tag match is off and rolling. Diener and Diener and AJ Francis taking on Rich Swann and our buddy Joe Hendry.
Am I the only one conflicted because Diener shouted us out, and thank you for Diener, and thank you, Scott, by the way. But Diener shouted us out, and he's out here teamed up with Flop Dollar. It's again, Scott has this weird little like double negative with all of his shit of like, I got a picture wearing our shirt with Chris Jericho. I got Diener to shout us out, but he's teaming with Flop Dollar. So it's like it's this weird monkey paw effect.
I can't be mad at who his friends are.
Nah, I can't be mad at AJ Francis. I can be mad at
that. Your favorite YouTube KJ went on an epic rant on the Meat Madness BS. Thank you, Vance. I think all 3 of us went on a pretty good giggle fest on that one.
Well, no, I think he was talking about Judgment Day.
Yeah, well, you can figure that one out. I'm still.
That's because he has no meat.
No marbles.
You have no marbles.
Okay, Magnus and Matt Sydal qualifying to get in the scramble. So either Magnus or Matt Sydal are going to be on the pay-per-view in the scramble match.
Nick Aldis is showing up. Magnus, is that who we're talking about?
Mexican Magnus.
The fact that we need to clarify that was a fucking problem. Dina right now in control of Rich Swann. Stop looking at me, Swan.
Ooh. Has AJ Francis even got in the match yet? I don't think so.
No.
Oh, he hasn't. Okay. All right.
You got to treat him like a window you're not using and just minimize. I know we bag. I don't know, man. I want to give the guy some support, but he hasn't delivered. Like, if you're gonna do the rap video about Joe, you kill that rap video, but you didn't.
Knowing how good Joe is when it comes to songs and music and stuff, you got to kill it.
Yeah.
And Joe came back very, very strong.
And your best friend Steve.
TK won the most impressive dive off the diving board award from his mom at his birthday this year. So who needs Booker of the Year?
Oh, that's amazing. I believe in Joe Hendry. Clap, clap.
Ooh, he has Dina up about to do a suplex. It looked like
A squat first, just for good measure. Holy, put him down.
It's so interesting to me because, like, Joe Hendry, as much as he's over as a comedy guy in TNA and everything, like, he's a guy that could be top of the card, main event, non-blonde hair, comedy singing shtick, and just is fantastic either way.
Yeah. I think he can play both parts very well.
Oh, he's great in there. Oh, wow. AJ just steamrolled him, though.
But he's still looking Rich Swann, a 205 guy, in the fucking eyes. So how are you trying to act like a badass when the little guy is looking you dead in your eyes?
I don't have an answer.
You were a fucking D tackle for the Dolphins. And you got a looking you dead in your eyes.
Wait, what? What was that?
Oh, where he did the running knee and flipped over the ropes?
Okay, so that was on purpose?
Yeah, that's on purpose.
Just to show he didn't make it over them. He can't leap over them. He's got a fucking dolphin slide over him.
Oh. Poor guy. This is kind of funny. I won't leave it up to one, but AJ Francis equals Liberus Brodus Clay.
If those two ever have a match together, time will stand still.
Yeah.
Physics.
Oh, absolutely.
Neil deGrasse Tyson needs to be there in attendance to watch the fucking analytics and everything that happens in that match, because time will literally cease to be.
Man, I need Joe Hendry to get the upper hand.
Hendry looks like a serial killer. Nah, that's Charles Mason from House of Glory that's out there looking like Norman Bates.
Diener's got a little bit of killer vibe to him.
No, he looks like in Deliverance. That's what he looks like.
He's our friend, bro.
I respectfully though, but I mean, you start running.
That's hilarious.
Screw it. I just need. I need to hear a banjo once. I'm out.
We got
Hendry. Oh. Just clubbed.
You surely got a pretty mouth.
Squeal, piggy.
Oh, God. Now, should we be saying that with AJ Francis in the ring?
No, just we're digging deep. We're digging a hole here.
Digatana, Digatana. Shout out Smile Mark for becoming a member for a month or reopen. Who ends Moose's title run?
Dolph?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely Nick Nemeth.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody else doing it.
Would anybody else do it to be a transition to get it to Nemeth that way? Of like, if Macklin did it, which would be a little weird because it'd be heel on heel. That's the thing, is you'd have to find that transition. Like a Josh Alexander would maybe be the only one that would be a babyface that could do it and still have a banger of a match with Nemeth.
I couldn't see Josh winning it just for a little bit, like being a transitional champion. If Josh gets that belt back, that's why they're keeping him away from the belt, because when he gets it, he doesn't give it back. He just keeps it.
Right.
Can't get across customs.
And Steve Macklin played that transitional role last year, and I don't think they'll do that again this year.
Fair play. Oh, backhand spring cutter.
I have a cousin that looks identical to Joe Hendry. It's creepy.
Are you just starting to say that you are just know all these wrestlers? Like, you already look like Kevin Owens. Now you got cousins that look like Joe Hendry, all this. Like, and I got my dad looks like The Undertaker. I
don't know. KJ, eat your dinner or rest.
I got 29 nuggets for 29 mouths.
As Joe Hendry and Rich Swann pick up the win, but Rich looking a little perplexed here.
He does. I really didn't catch that, but he does.
Interesting. Oh, is he getting annoyed that Joe won't hold his hand?
Hand, touching hand, reaching out.
Like Joe's being a bit of a spotlight hog here?
That's what it seems like. I don't know.
What the fuck? Oh,
Decay.
It's starting to look like the Raw intro from the 90s there. Forget the last, the moment.
Listen, if you have any friends that are involved in TNA, anybody out there, and you can pass on the message that we need a tag team monsters ball between these two teams, please do so. I'm begging for it.
We need that. We definitely need that.
Should we just inaugurally call it whenever they have a match, a strap-on and strap-in match?
Literally at this point.
I mean, it fits.
Oh. Yeah, these two teams could battle all of 2024, and I wouldn't complain, I don't think.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. Mm-hmm. Man, to do a trade or a title trade off every couple of months, I'm cool with that.
Right?
Have they perfected? Has TNA perfected, or at least I don't want to say perfected, at least figured out the fucking recipe for an actual competent women's tag division? Because WWE seeming to struggle to find it. AEW, I think, we're inevitably going to cross that bridge there. So, has TNA figured out the recipe? Because we were all just singing the praises of just have this be a permanent feud with these two women's tag teams.
I think they still have a bit of work to do in the Knockouts tag team division. I think they do need a little bit more teams out there. I know we got Jody Threat and
TNA signs
Hammerstone.
Breaking news.
Oh, and it's Alexander versus Hammerstone next week at Sacrifice.
Yes.
Strap on and strap in,
Wow.
folks. Let's go. Josh Alexander versus Alex Hammerstone.
Dose.
In a net battle for the name Alex. Number 2 at Sacrifice.
That's amazing news. If you're a TNA fan, the fact that and not only is Hammerstone a good signing, but that they are making that signing. You know, where the business was a little in flux, a little uncertainty.
Yeah.
The actual, you know, the fact that they spent the money to bring in Hammerstone, that's good news if you're a TNA fan.
This is really good news. This is really good news here.
That's the best news you could get, I would say. Now, granted, am I the one that makes you question still what went on between Scott and Anthem a little bit more? Of if the spending was the issue and we saw they spent, so then what was really the issue? Now, granted, I'm not taking away from that at all because Alex Hammerstone is a huge get for TNA, and especially for him to go there over a WWE, over an AEW, that's their. He's now just another fucking chess piece that they have at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there would be if there is a real issue there with Scott D'Amore and Anthem. I don't know if they just really wanted Scott D'Amore gone. It's still clouded in a lot of uncertainty and like what really happened, and I don't think we'll ever know, to be honest.
No, and it could just be the static between the parties, right? Like
Right.
they felt like Scott had it, like, you know, everybody was loyal to Scott. And if he's having issues with upper management, and again, if they're looking at it as we can do this without him, we don't know. We may never know what the true story was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we get Ali up next.
Now we've got the good hands, you know, setting the stage here for Ali.
Courtney not happy with our takes on top. So
no, that's fine. We already had somebody that wasn't happy because apparently, if you say anything, again, we've talked about, if you say anything critical about AEW, you just hate it. You don't want it to actually do well. You just hate it. You can't say anything. We've been over this even last time too. You can't say anything negative in pro wrestling anymore without it just you hate it. No one can be critical on anything. No one can give feedback.
Here comes Mustafa Ali. This is epic.
I want this man on the ballot in 2024 right now. I'm telling you.
Right.
I mean, between some of the candidates we got, I think he might be a better fit. Keep it a buck.
I'm Canadian and I'd vote for him.
This man's not even in this country. He's like, you can have that.
From all reports, yeah, he might be an upgrade.
We just use it as wrestling voting. We vote like the fucking Wrestling Observer Awards. We got Mustafa or we got Dwayne. Cody's the, independent candidate showing up.
Yeah, we run that through. I like that. In Ali, we trust. Are we truth?
Did anyone else, or was this just a fever dream I made up, see R-Truth telling Shawn Michaels, I see a lot of ABK in you?
That was a Johnny. Yeah, no, he's ridiculous. That was funny.
Yeah, I think R-Truth is one of the best things going right now in WWE, at least with the comedy.
Yeah, I see a lot of HBK in you. I thought ridiculous.
He's about to have his WrestleMania moment.
You should.
Speaking of having a moment, again, it's always Hollywood Squares where we go from the 3-man to the 2-man.
Right.
I'll take circle to block out X. But how are you feeling about Mustafa Ali's kind of presidential, politician kind of character gimmick here?
I like it. And I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I think it's very timely because we are in the year of the presidential election in the United States. So I think it's timely, but he's playing it very well. like I mentioned earlier that he wrestled Speedball at Prestige Wrestling this past weekend, and after the incredible match that they had, he basically said Mike Bailey was one of the ones he wanted to basically eradicate from the X division. But after having that match, he had changed his mind. So I really like how this is all, going on with him.
Oh, I think he'd be a huge get for TNA to bring in,
Yeah.
especially since we just literally saw them as we were live, to where they brought in Hammerstone and Saban's showing up right now. But yeah, it's interesting because they were going to do the politician gimmick in WWE and then kind of started it and then ran away from it. But I think this works really well because I think this is something he wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes you're the best performer ever is when it's you turned up to 11.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I really liked him versus Saban. And like you even mentioned the match that he had on the indies of him versus Speedball. And I was just seeing clips of it. I haven't watched the match yet, but even just watching slow-mo highlights and everything like that, it's phenomenal of the timing that those guys have of literally, I'm already setting up for you to be here while you're going there and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this world tour that he's on is absolutely incredible. I just hate that he didn't get like the push or this momentum in WWE. But at least he's getting it now.
Right. And yeah, he had 2 or 3 chances with WWE and they managed to fumble it every time. But
Every time.
but how are you feeling though with this of Chris Sabin, TNA, OG, been there the long way, pause, and Mustafa Ali kind of round really being the focal point of the X division?
I like it because I think Mustafa Ali's tagline is make the X division great again. I think that's what his tagline is. So saying that to somebody like Chris Sabin, who's been there since TNA started, I think it's perfect. I think it's the old versus the new. It's the new that wants to change and get rid of some of the things that were done in the past. And you got the old who wants to keep it the same. So I think it's just a perfect mix between these two. And I think that's why Chris Sabin has held the X Division championship as long as he had going into 2024.
Well, and that's a great little slogan there of make the X division great again. I was like, granted, as an acronym, it's terrible because there's not enough vowels, but make the X division great again. And yeah, it works, especially with the politician gimmick, with the I'm going to kind of push the edge here. And it's really across the board, it's done nothing but really show how Ali is good in the ring and what he can really do. And that's his strongest point.
Absolutely. I wonder if they're going to run this match back again. I think they are, but I feel like it has to be some type of stipulation on it.
What would be the stipulation you add here?
I don't know. I really don't.
I want to see them and you'd have to build some other people. I want to see this Ultimate X.
That could be good too. But like you said, you got to throw a couple of other people in there.
Right.
There goes
Which, by the way, how do I audition to be one of the security members? I think it's like Todd Brennan or somebody. I feel like I know a couple people. I recognize a couple people there at the security there. The Secret Service for Ali. But so we've got Kevin Knight and Kushida going at it with the good hand. So it looks like we're setting up a 6-person tag match here. And Kevin Knight, to me, has already established himself as the breakout guy from NXT.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think when we run these awards again later on this year, close to the end of the year, Kevin Knight has to be in there for breakout.
Reliable award.
Right. He has to be in there for the breakout superstar of the year because man, like you said last week, I just want to see Moose versus Kevin Knight now.
Yeah, it's even if you know like what's gonna happen, just to see the match and just to see this kid really show up and show out, because that's exactly what he did last week here.
It's definitely going to be one of those predictable outcomes. It seems like a lot of people have issues with predictability today. But I still want to see the match.
I feel like a lot of people need predictability because they can't figure it out without predictability. But that's
right.
2 + 2 = 22. No, Johnny, no. In Ollie we trust, says Jobson. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh. Some solution, Big Nick. What is your ideal matchup in terms of cross platforms, AEW, TNA, WWE, etc.? Well, that's just not a me question, but so what would be your ultimate match here? Is I've got the ultimate hype man out here right now. If he's managed to get over asked by elegance, so
he has, like, he keeps talking about this humongous announcement. It has to be Ash by Elegance.
Yeah, this man though, like he's the best hype man they got in TNA. Sorry, but so what would be, Anthony, as you're the diehard TNA representative, your multi-promotion, say if we just had to boil it down to a match, multi-promotional match, Anthony gets to book it. Who are you having? What's the stipulation? Who goes over? What have you?
All right. So if I'm going to pick 3 guys, one from AEW, TNA, and WWE, and a triple threat match. I don't know if I will put a stipulation on it, but give me Josh Alexander versus Seth Rollins, versus Samoa Joe.
Okay.
And a triple threat match.
I like the crossover potential amongst all 3 because Joe's got ties to both companies. Who goes over?
Man, that's a good question. I was going to say Josh Alexander, but I don't know. All 3 of those guys have great in-ring ability. And I've always wanted to see Josh Alexander versus Seth Rollins. I feel like that's just a main event worthy match. I'm gonna give it to Seth Rollins. I'm gonna give it to Seth Rollins. Yeah.
So Vince saying Ash for the win. Well, no, we just got Ash came out, just waved at the people, smile at the people, blow kisses to the people, and then did Moose ever face Lashley? If not, I want to see that match.
I think I'm gonna Google it real quick, but I think they have squared off in TNA.
Yeah, Lashley had the whole feud to where it was him, MVP, and Kenny King in Impact. So I feel like they kind of cross streams plenty of times.
They have, and you can watch that match in its entirety on YouTube. So
there you go, and you can watch us in our entirety on YouTube as well. As
exactly,
we are the Wrestling for Life Network. There's no commercials, so I got to talk during a promo, but we do this for anything and everything when it comes to pro wrestling. And absolutely, this Saturday is our 2-year birthday, so 100% fitting that it's on 3/2 because we are the ones. So absolutely, make sure you join us for our birthday here.
Got to join us for the birthday celebration.
Right, we got to see if we can crack that 4K as we already passed a million views on the channel as well. We're tippy toeing. We're almost to the tippy top out here.
Tippy top,
4K subscribers. Well, I haven't gotten your feedback as we've got Tasha Steele coming out here and Keyshawn saying all these security did absolutely nothing. But so, how do you feel, sir, about we getting Tiffy Chance in Australia, Naomi's first woman out of the pod? I've seen a lot of people not too happy with that situation. How are you feeling coming out of the women's elimination chamber?
I don't understand why people were so upset that Naomi got eliminated so early.
Because they are how you were, sir, initially of that to where they're taking it that she's getting overlooked.
I wouldn't say that so quickly. The girl's only been back a month. Like, I mean, I remember we discussed it. I remember we discussed it several
Right.
times on the channel, and I think it was like one stream. I was like, I had to think about it after we got off stream, Nick, and I was like, you got to give it some time. I mean, she was at the Royal Rumble. She won, the qualifying match, and then she was the first eliminated. I see nothing wrong with that. Now, if this was Naomi being in WWE for a full calendar year after leaving TNA, and this happened, okay, I can see the up in arms and being upset. But it's literally been less than a month, or actually a month now. I don't know what we're so upset about.
It's you gotta realize she showed excuse me, that she showed up when most of these feuds, these stipulations, these storylines has already been set in place. Of we were already going here, and then she became available. So now post WrestleMania is going to be, the dawning of Naomi.
Yeah,
that's what we need to worry.
Yeah, that's when we need to be like, okay, maybe she's being overlooked. If you want to talk about someone that I feel like is being overlooked right now, I think that's Bailey, but that's a discussion for another day. But Naomi, no, she's only been back 5 weeks tops. You got to give it some time. That's kind of how I feel.
Right. But we do have Tasha Steelz taking on Zaya Brookside right now. So, folks, let us know who you're taking for this match. As we've got Jordan Grace watching along backstage. Are you taking your girl Zaya Brookside here, sir?
I did when I did my preview earlier, I talked about Zaya Brookside taking the win, but at that time, at least I wasn't aware that this was for a future TNA Knockouts Championship match at Sacrifice. I kind of feel like Tasha Steelz might win it now that it's actually, a title shot in the balance here.
See, if Tasha wins, you have the potential for it being a competitive match at Sacrifice. If Zaya wins, respectfully, it's going to be a one-sided Jordan Grace win here because, I mean, Zaya Brookside's out here looking like the Amy Poehler of pro wrestling.
Amy Poehler.
That joke was so bad, KJ had to come back on it.
As soon as this cooperates, we're good to go. Oh, that's right. I gotta click the
Hollywood Squares.
It definitely has a Brady Bunch feel to me. Here's a story
of a handsome KJ.
Amy Poehler.
Wait, so then I just need to go Anthony.
I'm still stuck on this Amy Poehler comment, though.
Yeah, like I said, it's a joke so bad, KJ had to come back on it. If it wasn't for bad comedy, I'd have no comedy. Tasha for the win. Vance, I would think. Ray Phoenix gets the win. What now? Oh, well, we had the whole crossover match throwing thing out there, everything. So, yeah. Tasha Steelz for the win. Who you got in this match, sir? Who you got, KJ?
I'm going to say Zaya Brookside with the surprise. No, Tasha's playing heel right now. I'll go Tasha. I changed my mind.
See, I changed my mind too. I was like, I had Zaya Brookside, but I think it's gonna be Tasha.
I can't vote for Amy Poehler. Sorry.
Well, and shit, have I just coined that name now?
Maybe.
But like Anthony said, of how this is setting up for a future knockout championship match at Sacrifice. So are we going to see Zaya versus Jordan Grace, or are we going to see Tasha versus Jordan Grace? That's whenever you announce that it's going there, your mind wanders in which is going to be the more predictable outcome on that end.
Yeah, I'm just basing it on the fact that Tasha's working real heelish, yelling at the ref, giving the ref a hard time. So I mean, that might be a better fit for Jordan.
Fair.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a better fit. I feel like if you put Zaya Brookside in that I was about to say prediction. If predicament so quickly, I feel like it is predictable, and you're just gonna have Jordan Grace retain, but Tasha Steelz is a great opponent for Jordan Grace, so I feel like that's more of the better matchup heading into Sacrifice.
Come on, y'all don't want to see a dead body? That's how you see a dead body. You want to see someone get wrecked? That's how you see someone get wrecked.
Big neck breaker, though. Good match.
This is a really good match, though.
Steelz and Red Velvet Twins? No, not quite. Not quite. They'd be a hell of a tag team in TNA, I'll tell you that.
Well, her former tag team partners already in TNA or in AEW.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Well, shit. Look at me being a bad wrestling nerd.
Right, bring back Fire and Ice. Let's go.
Oh, it was a count out on both ends. Yeah, it was a count out.
Does that mean they both get a title shot, or nobody gets a title shot?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, have a triple threat at no. I was about to say no sacrifice, but sacrifice.
Okay.
Oh, here comes Jordan Grace.
I think it's going to be a triple threat. Jordan comes out and says, "I'll fight both of you." The Juggernaut. I love it. This is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a triple threat. This is going to be good now.
Crowd's chanting triple threat. Now, realistically, Anthony, is that the only way that you're like, oh, maybe she'll lose? Like,
I think so. I really think so. It's like, okay, she might have a little slim chance of losing.
Yeah, like she would destroy you, and she would destroy you. But now that you're both here, maybe you pin each other. I don't know.
Right.
I get it.
Okay, so I've seen this thrown in the chat a couple of times. I kind of wanted to talk about it, but Keyshawn is asking, did we talk about the Maxine stuff?
Not tonight.
How do you feel about the Maxine stuff?
Like I said this last night a little bit, and I was a little worried that it was going to ruffle some feathers.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, my point ends up being that I blame the WWE for putting her in a position that she's not quite ready for yet. We know all the wrestlers out there are trying their hardest. We've seen this with Dana Brooke in the past, where she was trying really hard, but the crowd wasn't feeling her. And there's been others that have kind of gotten the cold shoulder from the fans. But if she is in the match and she's not living up to what people expect, as paying fans, we have the right to cheer, boo, bitch, complain, be happy. I feel bad for her, but at the end of the day, you paid your money to see a match and the match goes horribly. You have the right to boo it.
No, absolutely. I see both sides because you're absolutely right. WWE did put her in the position where they kind of threw her out there. I like to use the term thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, amen.
So I think they put her in the position to be thrown to the wolves. But the thing about just saying, she sucks, don't come back. I think a lot of people say that. I don't understand why we're singling Maxine out. Because it was said to her. I went to events and seen and said things, like, we don't want to see you. Why are you here?
Yeah.
There was a kid that sat in front of me at TNA who yelled right at Kylan King as she walked below us, and she yelled back. I mean, I think
Yep.
that's the point of of a show.
Yep.
And I feel like the IWC this week really kind of just took that, you know, left field. I think it would have been different if it was like Maxine reacted to it and maybe she said something to the person that said it, like, I'm trying to do better, that's why I'm wrestling more house shows or whatever.
Mhm.
But I didn't really see a big deal with it. I do know Rhea Ripley has came out and said some
Yeah.
things about it, and other people, and you know, from their standpoint of being a wrestler,
Yep.
I understand their opinion. But for me, it's just it was just another fan saying that you sucked. That
Mhm.
was just me.
Yeah. And the clips I've seen, it wasn't like horrible. Like they weren't throwing garbage at her. They were just
Right.
very unimpressed with what she did. As the system is coming out, folks. But I mean, I don't want to be an asshole here, but at the end of the day, like you said, you see heckling all the time. If you go to a concert and you waited all night to see your favorite band and the lead singer's too drunk and stumbling around the stage, not singing the words to your favorite songs, you're probably going to boo. I've seen
Right.
comedians be booed. Rhea Ripley, her point of like, oh, what if I came to your job and booed you? Well, I didn't choose to be on TV. I didn't choose to go. Like, I mean, that's not my line of work. If you don't like, you know, you can't just be happy with the reactions that are good with you. Like, even doing
Right.
this, what we do, making content, lots of people show up randomly and say, you guys suck.
Exactly.
Right? We don't go, oh, how dare you? I'm trying very hard. Like, it comes with the territory. If you put yourself out there, you're exposed, and you got to accept that.
And going back to your point about Rhea Ripley's comment, like, people do come to my job all the time. I work in finance. I work
Right.
in banking and finance. And when you deny somebody for a loan, they're going to tell you you suck and you don't know how to do your job.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it literally, it happens every day to me. So
That's a valid point. All of our jobs, no matter what you're doing, no matter
exactly.
what line of work you are, there's somebody out there that's like, you know, if you don't do your job properly, they give you shit.
Right.
And so that whole attitude of like, well, she's trying really hard. She's a great look, I'm sure she's a wonderful lady. But if she's not able to get in the ring, and we saw it, they gave her a match with Rhea Ripley, and it was only supposed to be a squash match, but it was a bad squash match because Maxine couldn't do her part. Well, then train her more. Give her an NXT run. Let her make her botches in a better place, and then put her on live shows when she's more in line, more ready. If she wants to enhance her career, she needs to train. She needs to put in the time.
Right. No, absolutely. I really do think that was just kind of blown out of proportion this week.
Yeah.
I as a whole, the IWC has been on a 10 this past week when it came to the Liv Morgan situation, and then the Maxine thing, and then
What was the Liv thing?
well, it's back and forth about Liv should have won the Elimination Chamber and not Becky
ridiculous.
Lynch, and literally we're almost a week away or past the Elimination Chamber, and we're still talking about it. Like, I don't understand.
Well, you know what bothers me about the whole sentiment, Anthony, is that okay, Maxine takes a little bit of heat, and Liv, you know, people aren't happy about the Liv situation. Fine, but like, how many weeks now since Nia Jax returned has she been taking nothing but utter hate? And I haven't seen the wrestlers come to the aid of, oh, leave Nia alone. She's doing
Only
her
one
job.
person, and that's Asuka.
Right?
Asuka has been the only one to
Right?
defend Nia Jax since she's returned. So
And
you're absolutely right, KJ.
yeah, if you're a dainty little blonde, yeah, here come all the forces to be like, save her, you know, but
Right.
you know, like, wait a minute. Nia Jax, in my humble opinion, has been unjustifiably, you know, villainized by a lot of the fans. Yeah, she's a great, I think she's doing great heel work. She's been good since her return, but oh, she's dangerous. She hurts people. And then she bots like anybody else. If we were going to stop watching wrestling because of botches, well, then AEW would have like 3 guys wrestling. Like, let's be real. But it feels like there's a double standard of like, leave Maxine alone. Well, where was all this for others that have been taking heat that probably don't deserve it?
Exactly. You mentioned one in Nia Jax. I've seen a lot of people talk about where were you guys when Naomi and Sasha Banks walked out of the WWE. Like I get it. You hit the nail on the head of when you said Nia Jax, because she's been heckled so many times over the past couple of months. And now a lot of those people won't admit that she's actually doing good. They're just silent.
Yeah, right.
So,
but I believe this is the main event kicking off right now. Eric Young and ABC taking on the System. So very intriguing main event here tonight.
yeah, this is an interesting main event with Eric Young taking on Moose at Sacrifice for the TNA World Championship.
I like that match. I like that matchup.
Yeah.
I'm a big EY fan, so shit. They're getting paid, so I'm allowed to boo or cheer. Also, I paid a ticket to talk ish loudly. That's it, right? And again, you could, I mean, there's people that heckle Cody every night that, like,
right,
you know, he's the biggest baby face in the industry, but there's fans in the building who are like, fuck this guy, boo.
Exactly.
How dare you boo him?
I point taken is when I went to the Royal Rumble, and one of my friends actually pointed it out with my reaction when Jordynne Grace got eliminated from by Bianca Belair. I booed Bianca Belair when she eliminated Jordynne Grace, but then the crowd started chanting EST, and then I started chanting EST. I mean, you're at a live show, things are said,
right? But yeah, for the wrestlers to come out and basically say, you know, we basically, you know, you should just be appreciative that we showed up at all. That's not the right attitude. That's not the right approach.
Yeah.
I'm a sports guy. I mean, I just, like I said, my Toronto Maple Leafs, they got booed off the ice the other night for playing like shit. Like,
yeah,
you know, we're still diehard fans. We didn't quit, but we were like, you guys are garbage, boo. And you didn't, you know, you can't just say, well, you should just be thankful we showed up. No. You maybe need to pick another line of work if you can't handle both sides of the coin.
Right. No, absolutely.
I was almost nervous yesterday to go live with that opinion of like, if I'm gonna get yelled at for this one.
No, what really is gonna make you nervous is when they clip out the show and they put it everywhere on Twitter and Instagram, and you see your face all over the place.
Right. Woman hater. What? No, I said she loves the hate. Yeah, you got to embrace it. And I get it. It's different in Maxine's case because she's not supposed to be getting the hate. She's supposed to be getting the cheers. But she was getting the cheers when she was just the supporting cast. You pushed her into the spotlight. She's not ready for the spotlight. So get her ready for the spotlight. But if she's gonna get booked in matches and stumble over her own feet, we're probably gonna boo her.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned it before, when you put her in a match with Rhea Ripley, the best woman on the WWE roster, what do you think is going to happen? You know?
Yeah. But right now, Moose in control, the System for the win. As long as you're not swearing at them or cursing at them, insane derogatory things. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be wishing death. You shouldn't be hateful. You shouldn't be, you know, demeaning. Well, I mean, that's a thin line, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, boo, you suck. We're good with that kind of shit, right? You know, you don't want to wish death and illness on their whole family in existence.
Right.
Keep it respectful, but you're allowed to boo. Like I said, I've been to concerts and comedy shows where things didn't go so well for whoever was on stage, and they eat it. You know, it's not like I'm trying real hard, folks. Laugh at the next joke.
Right.
Oh, Nick waving at me. 1 second, bro. I got you. Ready? There's a story.
Handsome kid, I came in back at him. The handsome kid. I didn't want to fuck up the Hollywood Squares here.
That one was pretty smooth.
There we go. But yeah, no, it's with the Maxine thing. Sorry, I know you guys. I heard you guys talking about all of that. It's so. You don't pick on the nerd. It's all fine to say, you know, John Cena sucks, but when you pick on the nerd who isn't that good at it and isn't that quite coordinated. I'm like, well, at least he's trying to catch the ball. God damn it! Don't do it that one because he'll never play football again.
Exactly. I mean, John Cena is the guy who's thrown his shirt in the audience and it's been thrown back at him. Cody Rhodes, the same way, threw his belt out in the audience and it was thrown back at him.
Riots, I was all there for that.
So it's like, man, I don't know why we're singling out Maxine. I don't get it, but okay.
Again, I hate to say it, but if you are what
soft. SAWFT soft.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. It's unfortunate, but yeah, the wrestlers. I mean, I saw a lot of people like, "Go Rhea," and I was like, "Oh, Rhea, I love you, but no, I don't like that." There are other entertainment
whole strategy.
Because if I was like one of those bold people, I would have retweeted her and was like, well, I denied somebody for an auto loan and was called a B right to my face. So it has happened. So actually,
that was the best thing I've heard in this whole argument of, wait a minute, I take shit at my job all the time. Like I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it's an undeniable, it's a forgotten fact of like, wait, no, we actually work some shit jobs and still take shit. Like,
right,
we're doing this for $17-something an hour,
right?
And you're doing this for $1,000-something an hour.
If you're the fry guy,
it's not tough.
Right? If you're the fry guy at McDonald's and you fuck up the fries, you're hearing it. Like, let's be real.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And those fries might be chucked right back at you. So
right? I've seen some videos where people don't take too kindly to their food being fucked up. So let's be real. Oh, that's funny.
That's the reason the term Karen exists.
Facts.
Oh, Moose with a big chop.
Are they chanting F the system?
I think so.
Okay.
I thought it was "This is awesome" for a minute, but I think it is.
They're just fucking with the audio enough, so it just sounds horribly. This is dumb.
Dun, dun, dun. Kevin is doing great tonight. We like to hear that. Ivan, the reason Maxine blew up because somebody put her on YouTube and captured it with like, this is bad, so people went with it. It wasn't even that bad.
My guy, all that was missing out of that was like I said it sounded like the SpongeBob, like, boo, who is everything, but all that was missing was like the sad, like Charlie Brown walk-off music, like the fucking Incredible Hulk and end of the show walk-off song there. She just looked sadder than a puppy dog. Now, granted, credit to her, she sits there and still thank you as fuck you.
Yeah, that was a bold. Thank you, boo.
Right, but I'm like, hey, but again, that's the thing is sometimes you need to have those type of moments, so you take that shit on the chin, and that's your motivation. Like, when did we get to where everything's sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows? Like,
participation medals, my guy.
Just fuck, like. Sometimes you need to get chin checked to make you fucking want to come back bigger, stronger, and better.
Right.
Yeah, take this and use it to improve in the ring. And somewhere out there, Eva Marie's like, what the fuck?
She got a pass. Like, let's not be honest. She got a pass randomly. And granted, I saw it a little bit of, I guess so it was the Maxine Nia Jax match, which you guys talked about that. So she was set up to fail.
100%. Ultimately, I blame the employer for putting her in that position.
Right.
That was the funniest whatever you want to call it. Yokozuna drop. Why is I'm blanking on what they call that?
Bonsai.
The bonsai. But the obliterator or whatever Naya's calling it now. Where you just get hit with it and lay there like a 2x4.
Well, that's the only selling Maxine could do. But I saw it on, the X gonna give it to you earlier today, to where someone was asking of like, what's your honest opinion of Nia Jax's return, or since she's been back or whatever, and Nia quote tweeted it saying the drizzling shits.
She did.
You got to appreciate that. That's what you do when you are taking unnecessary shit.
You lean into it. You just
Right.
all right, so fuck you. You hate me, all right, cool. I'm gonna take everything. You're doing the Eminem 8 Mile tactic of I'm gonna see every way you're gonna come at me, so I'm gonna lean into it.
Right. Yeah, we just had a tag with the official Misfits system working great as a heel team here.
Yeah.
It's outstanding. Cornette flipping at the Wendy's lady is still an all-time classic from the days before. 100%.
No, you fucking idiot. We didn't order it because we thought it would be a cool joke. We ordered it because we're fucking hungry.
150%. Paul works at a restaurant. Very true. Been there, done that, my guy. Like, again, you can't fuck up at your job, any job.
Right.
I can't go to my boss.
I work retail. Anthony works in finances. KJ is the leader of the opium tribe, the smokium tribe. So, I mean, every day is a feel-good moment with KJ.
Yeah, but even for that, like, no matter what your job is, like, I can't go to my boss and be like, I know this campaign really sucks, but I tried really hard on it. They're like, you didn't do anything you were supposed to do.
I fucked up. I tried hard.
Anthony's got it hard though, because he's dealing with people's emotions on a daily of like
you're dealing with finances. Like you're debating between roof over your head or not.
Exactly.
Right.
Every day. Just tell someone we're putting your check on a 2-day hold and you're getting cussed out. I'm just saying, like, it happens daily.
I really tried to get you the check on Tuesday, but you can't have it till Thursday. Don't be mad.
Anthony got them hands though. Secretly on the low, he got them hands because somebody's squared up with that motherfucker before. Just run that shit.
Set up the fail. Are we still talking about AEW? No, Matt. See, this is the good news. See, when people say that we only shit on one company, we are equal opportunists.
I'm not gonna touch that.
Also, people love, but she's not being successful. That's kind of the problem here. We're not hating on her because she's just so good that we have to hate her. People love pulling down heroes nowadays, and we see it all the time. Like the people that refuse to admit that Roman Reigns has had an outstanding run. To me, those are that type of people. But she's being unsuccessful at her current position.
Right. And
yeah, you brought it up last night. You brought it up tonight. Of the best comparable is cool. If I go to see a band and they put on a shit performance, I'm fully entitled to fucking boo them.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's happened. Go check the internet. It happens all the time.
Once you were saying, lead singer showing up a little too inebriated, I was like, what is 5-finger death punch?
5 fingers a good actor. You guys know you're on stage while this is happening, right?
Right, you're live, pal, right?
No, I mean, here's the best story. The best example I can give you is the one of the GOATs, Dave Chappelle, goes to Detroit and shits the bed because he's not on his game, and he got booed out of the fucking building. That's one of the best ever that did his job, but he sucked on that particular night. Detroit didn't go, but he's trying. They're like, fuck him.
He try real hard. Don't hate him. He try real hard.
But this match is on fire.
He's a warrior.
Yeah, this match is on fire. I know we've been like talking throughout, but I've been keeping my eye on it. Yeah,
big tope by Eric.
Oh, powerbomb onto the apron there for on a Chris Bay. Right.
Imagine Bobby Lashley and Moose as a monster tag team. I only wonder is like if Moose stood next to Bobby Lashley, would you realize that how much bigger Bobby Lashley is?
Or is Moose bigger? I think Moose might be taller.
I think Moose is taller. He's definitely taller.
Moose is 39 years old. Ooh.
Way to make me feel young.
He's 90. Hi, Moose.
Ooh.
Oh, he's 6'5", 300. Ooh.
Yeah, well, he's the
Yeah.
motherfucker that's an actual ex-NFL player that looks like an actual ex-NFL player versus AJ Francis Flop Dollar that looks like an ex-practice squad player.
What a cutter. Moose wobbled. Blockbuster. Oh, yeah, they call it too sweet.
Ooh.
The system is a nice combination of good wrestlers that you also kind of want to hate, like with Eddie Edwards and shit, and Brian Myers of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
And
they
then
actually work as the heel faction.
Five-figure death punch. Nickelback's pissed off little brother.
Yeah. Look at this photograph. Punch the shit out of it.
Oh, Smile Mark saying Maxine's gimmick is a wrestler in training, though, so she's expected to mess up. Then you gotta sell us on that. You gotta pitch that harder, because when we watched your fight, Rhea, it wasn't like, well, I mean, I think you gotta, I don't know, send her to NXT if she's training. Wow, what a drop kick!
How?
it was
That's
like 5
just-
finishing moves done in this whole sequence.
Whoa!
Hey!
Oh, back stunner. Elbow drop.
Wow! 1, 2,
That was
3.
insane.
Un, deux, trois.
Brian Myers gets the pin. I like that. Yeah, dear AEW, this is how you do a trios match.
Can smack Tony Khan on the back of the head. That's how you book some wrestling.
That was a better match than the 6-man that opened last night's show.
It moved at a better pace. Like it's not even, you can skip past even ring quality, star level, anything like that. It's literally just the pacing of everything. Like that's the issue we had with that entire show, and it moved so fucking slow. It was 2 hours that felt like 7.
2 hours that felt like 7.
Right. So a big win for Moose and the crew. And
Why does
Alicia Edwards has. Sorry?
No, go ahead. Finish.
I was going to say Alicia Edwards just has natural heat with me. I can't help it.
That's fine. I was going to say she looks like an extra in The Sopranos. She looks like she's Carmella's friend.
Carmella's friend. She does though. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that.
Real Housewives of New Jersey, fully.
But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of Impact tonight. A good show. I enjoyed this one. Plus, I enjoyed the chit chat. This comment here, real quick, is the part about Scott Whalen. I mean, I love Scott Whalen, but you weren't the only person to ever walk out of a Scott Whalen show, because he had some rough times prior to passing. So, yeah, it's heartbreaking. But yeah, no, I mean, that's it. You have to do your job. You got to show up and show out. And as paying fans, you can't tell us not to. We get to do whatever we want, as long as if we want to watch the show standing on our head, that's our prerogative.
I don't know why that got me.
You got a visual?
Like Britney Spears songs and everything for some reason.
Okay. How'd you guys feel about the show, gentlemen?
For me, I would probably give it a 7.5. It was great. But I don't think anything kind of stood out tonight, that could push it to an 8. But I would give it a solid 7.5.
You want to go or amigo?
Go, amigo.
An amigo or an amigo? I'll give it a 6.5.
Oh, really? You weren't paying attention.
It was what?
I said you weren't paying attention.
Fuck you. No, it was good, but I'm still constantly wondering of the storylines, the threads of like really paying off and really building up those, those storylines throughout. Impact throughout TNA versus like if you are a diehard and you watch every week of it, you really get it versus this is something that draws in that buzz that keeps that, you know, attention going that they got from changing from Impact to TNA.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm kind of leaning towards the 7.5 ish. Like, I mean, a solid 7 for me tonight. I thought it was a very well put together show. I thought the matches we got were solid from start to finish. The opening match did well. The main event was fun. Again, I kind of see what both of you were saying in the sense of like they were good, but all right. Like there wasn't a lot of meat behind it.
Yeah.
The meat madness. Everybody's injured.
Nick Bray giving it an 8, Keyshawn giving it a 7. We're gonna skip that one. 7.5 out of 10. 0 out of 10. No Trish. Fair enough. 7.25 out of 10 knee pads. Charlotte looks like Carmella. What?
Really?
No. Carmella looks like Carmella. And see, that's the two different people that I referenced there.
Carmella looks like Carmella. Well played. Kevin saying 10 out of 10. Loving it. 6.4 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. I don't know what you said, but he said thanks.
I don't even know if it's at me. We've got other Nicks in the chat too. So could be at somebody else.
Nick, one of my faves of all time. 7.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Just going up. Do I got a 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9?
No, 9.5, 9.5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. What?
No Ash by Elegance tonight.
No, well, no, we did. We got it.
I missed
we
it.
got a little splash.
Yeah, you
we got a
missed
little.
it.
Oh, we got a little.
Spritz the fucking the neuralizer, the fucking Acme, you know, perfume spray thing there.
We had her concierge come out and hype that it was a big announcement, just like Tony Khan, and then it was Ash by Elegance. So
see again, tying in Carmella, and now we've got Caucasian Reggie.
Caucasian Reggie. I accept that. Yeah, I mean, overall, a pretty good show from start to finish. I'm really surprised that sometimes with TNA doing this kind of like quick turnaround, like we got one show, now we're getting another show. They might want to reconsider that or spread them out a little bit. I don't know how you feel, Anthony. I know, you know, being in your position, do you feel like we're going back to no surrender already?
I think they definitely need to spread it out. I think what they try to do is give a lengthy amount of time between the big pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So you got Sacrifice, and then you have probably a 6 to 8 week buildup to Rebellion. So I think they do those quick turnarounds to build for the big pay-per-views. I would rather just scrap that monthly special if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, doing a quick turn. So I don't know.
I still think it should be Thursday. Make a Thursday night special. Like, next Thursday is no surrender. Like kind of like what we've seen with Roadblock coming up with NXT. Tony does it all the time of like,
yeah.
Like I think because you're unrivaled on a Thursday. Like these secondary shows on a Friday just get buried behind SmackDown, whether they love it, no matter what you put on it.
Truth.
Yeah.
That to me is the biggest underlying. It's interesting that you brought up NXT because if they ran the same schedule as NXT, just on Thursday instead of a Tuesday, it's a whole different discussion we're having right now. I feel of that they've again Tuesdays now have become NXT days. You've synonymously thought.
Yeah.
Same thing like with Dynamite with AEW, it's a Wednesday. If you do that with Thursdays with Impact. Even if it's you have a little special, if you had a Sacrifice, that was the same as we're getting a Roadblock for NXT.
Yeah.
Both are weekly shows, not a pay-per-view, but a special show. But if you make that destination viewing, that's your money.
Yeah, agreed. I definitely agree there. Maybe Anthony Ciccone will see something and maybe change it in the future.
Yeah, and I mean, just for a multitude of reasons, like I said, I think the best one, and you both mentioned, is that Thursday is yours, right? Like they're not up against, like, I mean, people are going to go, but MLW, KJ, or OVW's on tonight, but no, realistically, based on their stature, they're really not up against anything. It's a nice window. And we see it with, like you said, Nick, like Roadblock, they just load up the show. And for me as a fan, we just came off the pay-per-view, and like this week, it's like, all right, you're the new number one contender. Now you're the new number one contender. Oh, you're going to have a match. Like it's all kind of splattered together for No Surrender. One always the second one always seems to hinder a little.
Well, and if they went to, like we've talked about, if they go eventually where we hope that they're going, if they go live and have a live weekly show, I think that takes away a lot of our personal drawbacks on it, because everything's recorded, you're seeing it 2-3 weeks down the road type thing. If they went live and they had a solidified home, that's your home base. We go back to that, we saw it work with NXT again. We saw it work with WCW when it initially started. If you have that home base, you build that audience and you grow beyond that. You use that to extrapolate beyond.
NXT, AEW might have to go back to that method. Go back to Daly's place and then expand out.
I feel like they should have been done that. We're just gonna keep doing it.
Right. Last but not least, I think on this one, but SmackDown tomorrow night. Any thoughts? Are you excited? From Nick, what do you think? We will be here live.
I don't even know what's The Rock returns tomorrow, right? The Rock is
I was gonna go right into if you smile.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Anthony. I think beyond The Rock coming back, I mean, the fact that they've announced that Cody's expected to be in the building as well. He's challenged The Rock, so I'm really curious to see what that has in store for us. I mean, that's got to be the biggest part or the big selling point for SmackDown tomorrow. I think it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing that comes to my mind, other than Cody Rhodes could potentially be there. Is The Rock. So I'm definitely looking forward to see what The Rock has to say tomorrow and how he responds.
Well, they're both, I guess, advertised for the next 3 upcoming SmackDowns and everything. And on even a side note, we can mention how CM Punk has allegedly already been advertised for the last Monday Night Raw right before a SmackDown. There's a lot of people suggesting that either he could be a special guest referee in Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, which is interesting, the discourse as to where that lands on the card. And could he be the host of WrestleMania, when Dwayne was at one point the host of WrestleMania?
Yeah, it works for me. Get him involved. You saw what he did at the press conference.
Right.
Him and Big E.
That's just the director's cut. That's when you buy you can't buy the physical copy anymore. When you get the digital download of WrestleMania, you get the alternative commentary. Instead of us, it's just Big E and CM Punk.
Right. But we also get Bayley's teaming up with Dakota Kai to take on the Kabuki Warriors. So that's going to have a nice little spin to it. I think
that's the Dakota Kai turn. That's the Dakota Kai turn tomorrow.
And then we're getting another street fight as Carlito and Santos Escobar are going to. No, wait, that doesn't sound right. Carlito versus Santos.
Carlito and Escobar.
There you go. So we'll see how that all works out. Yeah, there, Damien, let me know. Will be a fun night, folks. We will be here live for it. It's a doubleheader Friday. Heading into a doubleheader Saturday, which is also our birthday. We just broke our views record for a month again for February, beating January. So good job, boys. Thank you so much.
Well, you missed this earlier. I said it's fitting that our birthday is on the 3-2 because we the ones. So
that's adorable. I like that.
Fuck you. That's adorable.
And of course, Sunday we have AEW Revolution. We will be live early. It's going to be a packed night of chaos, if nothing else. And I'm really hoping that Sting's final match has that feel to it. But other than that, gentlemen, any final thoughts, Anthony?
No final thoughts from me. Hey, tune in to Sacrifice next Friday.
There we go. That's it. Thank you.
Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you talk about the wrestling, put that for life with it.
See you on the flip side, folks. Come back tomorrow. The Rock will be here. Good night. Bye.